It was the weekend, and I was at my wife Chloe's company party for her big promotion. The second we walked in, her coworkers dragged her off for photos and congrats. I ended up standing alone in a corner, like some idiot. After the photo session, Chloe's boss, Mr. Sterling, came over with a drink in his hand. "What's your deal, kid? You useless or something? You've been married to Chloe all this time, and she's still a virgin." Then, he slapped Chloe's ass right in front of me. "Your wife smoking hot. You can't even take care of her? Pathetic." I clenched my fist trying to keep it together and looked at Chloe. Her eyes were distant like she was somewhere else. "Chloe, did you actually sleep with him?" The whole room went dead silent. Every single person was staring at me. Chloe clearly didn't expect me to call her out in public. Her face dropped instantly. "Julian, what the hell is your problem? This is my promotion party. Do you really have to cause a scene and embarrass everyone?" I didn't back down. "Chloe, answer the question. Did you, or did you not sleep with this old man?" That hit a nerve. She shoved me hard. "So what if I did? Julian, we've been married almost 2 years. And you haven't even bought me a decent purse. Look at Mr. Sterling. He just got me a Hermes bag today." She was practically spitting in my face. She was so worked up. I kept my cool staring right at her. "Chloe, do you realize this guy is almost 50? He's old enough to be your dad." I thought that would embarrass her. It didn't. Not even a little. So what if he's old? Still, better than being stuck with a loser like you. Mr. Sterling already promised me if I stick with him, I'll be CEO assistant before long. Then right in front of me, she leaned in and kissed her boss. This old guy had my wife's lipstick smeared across his wrinkled face. "Did you bring me here just to watch you cheat on me?" Mr. Sterling, who'd been quiet, finally laughed. "Kid, are you stupid or just pretending? Can't you figure out what's going on here?" He pulled Chloe into his arms, not even trying to hide it. "I told her to invite you. And the reason's simple. I want you to divorce her." I looked at the two of them, fingers intertwined, and let out a bitter laugh. "So you two planned this whole thing, huh?" No wonder something felt off the moment I walked in. She must have been hooking up with her boss for a while now. And suddenly it all made sense. Why Chloe never let me touch her the whole time we were married. He was saving herself for him. "Quit wasting my time. Are you signing the divorce papers or not?" Chloe was getting impatient. "Julian, I must have done something terrible in a past life to end up with a loser like you. If someone hadn't told me your family owned a villa, I wouldn't have dated you if you begged me." I paused. "So you married me because my family had a villa, not because you loved me," she scoffed. "What else? You really thought I'd fall for a nerd like you?" That hit me like a punch to the gut. Everyone at our college knew Chloe had chased me for 3 years straight. I only said yes on graduation day. I had no idea how she found out about my family's property, but it didn't matter anymore. I wasn't keeping a cheater. "Chloe, you're right. My family does own villas in the West End. More than one, actually." My voice turned ice cold. "But here's the thing. Starting now, none of that has anything to do with you." The room burst out laughing. "Give me a break. You know how much a West End villa costs. Even Mr. Sterling can't afford one. And you're saying you've got several? Who do you think you're fooling?" The employees kept sucking up to their boss while I just smiled. "Believe it or not, up to you." I turned to leave. "Julian, stop right there." I turned back slowly. "What, Miss Peterson? You inviting me to dinner?" Chloe smirked, her eyes full of mockery. "Forget something." "What?" He pulled out divorce papers from her bag and shoved them at me. "You're not leaving until you sign these." She looked so damn smug, completely clueless about what she was about to lose. "Julian, just agree to the divorce and name your price: money, a house, whatever you want. I'll give it to you." I sighed looking at this woman who used to feel so familiar, but now seemed like a total stranger. "Chloe, are you really that desperate to be some old guy sugar baby?" Before she could answer, I chuckled. "Fine, I'll divorce you. But I have one condition." Her eyes lit up. "What condition?" "Name it. I'll agree to anything." Hearing that, whatever feelings I had left for her completely disappeared. "It's simple. I need to FaceTime your dad real quick. David agrees to this divorce." I won't say another word. Mr. Sterling burst out laughing. "Who do you think you are? I brought you here as a courtesy. I'm not negotiating. I don't care who you call. You're signing those papers today. Got it?" I ignored his threat. All I cared about was David's take on this. A big reason I married Chloe was because her dad, David Peterson, used to be my family's driver. He's like an uncle to me, watched me grow up. I've always considered him family. After we got married, I kept that from Chloe to spare her feelings. But this woman, blinded by her little power trip, I actually thought I was calling her dad to beg for her back. "That's hilarious, honey. Let's be the bigger people." Chloe cooed at Sterling. "Don't stoop to his level. If he wants to make a call, let him. My heart belongs to you now. I was about to respond when Chloe cut me off. Julian, I'm warning you. Whoever you call, the result's gonna be the same. I'm divorcing you today, period. Seeing her cocky expression, I almost laughed out loud. Chloe, you've got it all wrong. I have zero interest in winning you back. I'm only calling to let your father know. I've been nothing but fair to you and your family. Originally, out of respect for our family's history, I was gonna let the Petersons off easy. But some people just don't appreciate kindness. Oh, please, Julian. Even if my dad was standing right here, I'd still divorce you. I held up my hand enough. That's all I needed to hear. Then, I dialed David. David, it's Julian Hayes. The moment he heard my voice, David perked right up. Mr. Hayes, why didn't you tell me you were back? I would have brought Chloe to pick you up. I glanced at Chloe. No need. I'm at your daughter's company right now. David caught the edge in my voice. Mr. Hayes, has my girl been acting up again? I'll apologize for her right now. Before he could finish, Chloe grabbed my phone. Dad, it's me. I'm divorcing this loser Julian today. My boss said, if I stick with him, he'll make me CEO assistant tomorrow. She hung up before David could even respond. After that stunt, I wasn't about to show her any mercy. Chloe, I gave your family a chance. You wouldn't take it. So don't blame me for what comes next. I took the divorce papers, signed them without hesitation, and handed them back. Chloe looked surprised that I gave in so easily. What are you smiling about? I looked at her completely emotionless. What? I can't be happy. Miss Peterson, you don't actually think I'm still hung up on you, do you? That backer you're so proud of, he's just a company CEO. To me, that's nothing. Chloe's face turned red. Mr. Sterling stepped forward looking pissed. You little punk. You trying to act tough with me? Whatever tricks you've got, bring them. I'll handle it. Chloe straightened up, feeling bold now that her man was backing her. Exactly. You're just some government worker. How can you compare to Mr. Sterling? His monthly allowance is probably more than you'll make in your entire life. Government worker. He wasn't wrong, technically, but I wasn't just any government worker. My position was a bit different. Actually, Miss Peterson, I think you're mistaken. Mistaken about what? He looked at me like I was an idiot. You're not going to tell me the CEO of a public company can't compare to some low-level government employee, are you? I smiled. You're right. When it comes to real power, money means nothing. The rumor erupted. This guy's delusional. Mr. Sterling was on the Forbes list. Could he be less than this? Nobody, right? Look at him. He looks like an intern. His salary is probably lower than mine. Some people just need to stay in their lane. A broke guy with no connections. Of course, his wife was gonna leave him. Everyone kept kissing up to Sterling. Not a single person seemed to think there was anything wrong with the boss stealing an employee's husband. Sterling figured I was scared since I'd gone quiet. He signaled security to throw me out. I waved them off, my expression turning serious. Sterling Group went public late last year. Market cap around $1 billion. The largest shareholder, Richard Sterling, holds 30%. Sound about right. Mr. Sterling. The usually smug CEO's eyes flickered with surprise. Kid, what are you getting at? You've been investigating me. I sighed. Investigating your little company isn't even worth my time. Then I let out a cold laugh. Mr. Sterling, I'm just trying to decide something. Decide what? A bead of sweat rolled down his forehead. Whether I should just buy your company outright or let it go bankrupt. Maybe you could help me figure that out. The atmosphere shifted. Chloe jumped in. Honey, don't listen to him. Anyone can find those numbers online. I've known this loser for years. He's a nobody, zero connections. He's just trying to shake you down for money. I'd had enough. Chloe, you really think you found yourself a good backer? I swept my gaze across the room. Everyone standing here right now. You're all fired. Every single one of you. Richard Sterling's face changed instantly. You little shit, you testing me? Do you have any idea whose company this is? You think you can fire New York employees? You've got 3 minutes to get out of my sight, or things are gonna get ugly. The employees turned hostile too. Is this guy insane? This pathetic loser thinks he can fire us? Yeah, his own wife ran off with someone else, and he's still talking big. If I were him, I'd go hide somewhere instead of embarrassing myself like this. I looked at all these clueless people and couldn't help but laugh. All right, I'm done playing games. Time to show you what real power looks like. I slowly took off my jacket. Then I turned to face Mr. Sterling. Mr. Sterling, you said money can solve everything, right? So can you solve this? Richard Sterling's eyes went wide, locked onto something on my chest. The next second, he gasped. How do you have that family crest? That's impossible. The room was so quiet you could hear the ice melting in abandoned drinks. Sterling stared at the small, intricate pin on the inside lapel of my jacket. It was understated, pure platinum, shaped like a double-headed hawk clutching a sphere. To the untrained eye, it was just jewelry. To anyone who swam in the deep waters of global finance, it was a death sentence to cross. The haze. Sovereign crest, Sterling whispered, his voice trembling so hard the words barely came out. Only the direct lineage, the heir. You recognize it. Good, I said, my voice dangerously low. Then you know that the government work I do involves managing the sovereign fund of the Western Hemisphere. I don't work for the government, Sterling. The government asks me for loans. Chloe let out a screechy, nervous laugh. She grabbed Sterling's arm, shaking him. Honey, why are you looking at him like that? It's probably fake. He bought it on eBay. Julian is a nobody. Shut up, Sterling roared, the sound echoing off the walls. He spun around and, in a blind panic, backhanded Chloe across the face. The slap was louder than the one he'd given her ass earlier. Chloe stumbled back, clutching her cheek, her eyes wide with shock. The room gasped. You stupid woman. Sterling was sweating profusely now, his expensive suit suddenly looking like it was suffocating him. Do you have any idea what you've done? Do you know who the Hayes family is? They own the bank that holds my company's debt. They own the land this building sits on. Sterling turned to me, his knees literally buckling until he hit the floor. The arrogant CEO, the man who had mocked me moments ago, was now on his knees in front of his employees. Mr. Hayes. Julian, please. I didn't know. If I had known. I looked down at him, feeling absolutely nothing. If you had known, you would have just kissed my ass instead of stealing my wife. You're not sorry, Richard. You're just terrified. I pulled out my phone. I didn't need to FaceTime David anymore. I dialed a different number. A number that bypassed switchboards and secretaries. Sebastian, I said into the phone. Sir? The voice on the other end was crisp, professional. The Sterling Group. Initiate a hostile takeover. I want 51% of the shares bought within the next 10 minutes. Use the reserve fund. And Sebastian. Yes, sir? Once we have majority control, I want the board dissolved. I want the assets frozen. And I want an immediate audit of Richard Sterling's personal accounts. I have a feeling he's been dipping into the pension fund. Consider it done, Mr. Hayes. I hung up. Chloe was staring at me, blood trickling from her lip where Sterling had hit her. The reality was trying to break through her delusion, but she fought it. Julian, she stammered. You're acting. This is a prank. It has to be. Check your phone, Sterling, I said, ignoring her. Sterling scrambled for his phone. His face went gray. Trading halted, massive buy order. My God. My stocks, they're tanking. I stepped closer to him. I told you. I'm not investigating your company. I'm deleting it. The doors to the banquet hall burst open. Everyone flinched, expecting security. Instead, an older man in a modest suit ran in, out of breath. It was David Peterson, Chloe's father. He looked frantic. He scanned the room, saw the tension, saw Sterling on his knees, and then he saw me. Mr. Hayes. David rushed over, ignoring his daughter completely. He stopped 3 feet from me and bowed his head deep, a gesture of old-school respect that he hadn't shown anyone in years. Dad. Chloe cried out, her voice shrill. Dad, what are you doing? Stand up. Julian is humiliating us. David spun on her, his face red with fury. You shut your mouth, Chloe. Do you have any brain in that head of yours? He pointed a shaking finger at me. Do you know who this boy is? When your mother got sick, who do you think paid for the surgery? The insurance didn't cover it. It cost $500,000. An anonymous donor paid it. That was Julian. Chloe froze. What? And your tuition? David continued, tears welling in his eyes. You think my driver's salary paid for that private university? Julian paid it. He told me to never tell you because he wanted you to love him for him, not his money. He married you because he loved you, and you treated him like garbage. The silence in the room was heavy, suffocating. I put a hand on David's shoulder. It's okay, David. You don't have to defend me. I do, sir, David wept. I failed you. I raised a daughter who has no honor. I am so ashamed. I looked at Chloe. For the first time, the arrogance was gone. She looked from her father to me, the pieces finally clicking into place. The villa, the confidence, the lack of ambition. It wasn't that I lacked ambition, it was that I had already won the game before she even started playing. Julian. Her voice was small, trembling. She took a step toward me. Julian, I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me? Would it have mattered? I asked coldly. If I told you, you would have stayed. But you would have stayed for the money, just like you spread your legs for Sterling for a promotion. You didn't want a husband, Chloe. You wanted an ATM. No. I love you. I was just confused. Sterling manipulated me. She tried to grab my hand, but I stepped back. Don't touch me, I said. We're done. You signed the papers. I can tear them up. She reached into her bag, pulling out the divorce papers. Doesn't matter, I said. My lawyers have digital copies already. And besides, I looked around the room at the employees who were now terrifyingly silent. I have witnesses to your adultery. You get nothing, Chloe.
No alimony.
No house. No support. I turned to the crowd. As for the rest of you, the employees stiffened. I wasn't joking. The Sterling Group is under new management as of. I checked my watch. 2 minutes ago. HR will be contacting you all. Most of you will be let go. Those who actually do work might be rehired by my holding company. But anyone who stood here and laughed at me, don't bother coming in on Monday. I walked out of the banquet hall without looking back. David followed me, apologizing profusely, but I told him to go home and rest. I promised him that my quarrel was with Chloe, not him, and that his pension was secure. Outside, the night air was crisp. My real driver pulled up in a Rolls-Royce Phantom, the one I kept in storage for special occasions. As I got into the back seat, I saw Chloe running out of the building. She had lost a shoe. Her Hermes bag, the one Sterling gave her, was dragging on the concrete. Julian,
Wait.
she banged on the window. I didn't roll it down. I just looked at her through the tinted glass. She was crying, mascara running down her face, screaming that she was sorry, that she would change. Go, I told the driver. The car glided away, leaving my ex-wife barefoot on the sidewalk, watching the life she could have had disappear into the night. The transition was brutal for them, seamless for me. The Sterling Group was dissolved. I sold off its assets to competitors. Richard Sterling was currently facing indictment for fraud and sexual harassment. Turns out Chloe wasn't the only assistant he'd promised a promotion to. He was bankrupt, his reputation incinerated. I was back in my element. No longer hiding in the shadows, I took my place at the head of the Hayes Consortium. I was at a charity gala in New York, standing on a balcony overlooking the city, holding a glass of champagne. You look like a man who enjoys the view, a voice said. I turned. It was Elena Vance. I knew her by reputation. She was the CEO of Vance Tech, a woman who had built a billion-dollar empire from scratch. She was sharp, stunning, and notoriously difficult to impress. The view is nice, I said, but the company is better. Elena smiled, leaning against the railing. I heard what you did to Sterling. Brutal. Efficient. The market is still talking about it. He touched what was mine, I said simply. And he disrespected my family. And the wife? Elena asked. Her eyes were intelligent, searching. Ex-wife, I corrected. She's in the past. Good, Elena said, taking a sip of her drink. Because I've been trying to get a meeting with you for weeks, Julian Hayes. And I don't like competing with ghosts. We talked for hours. Unlike Chloe, who talked about purses and gossip, Elena talked about art, policy, the future of energy, and the burden of legacy.
She challenged me.
She made me laugh. For the first time in 2 years, I felt like I was speaking to an equal. A week later, I was leaving a high-end restaurant with Elena. We were laughing about a merger proposal she had received from a rival. As we waited for the valet, a woman rushed out from the shadows near the alleyway. She was wearing a waitress uniform that was 2 sizes too big, her hair tied back in a messy bun. She looked tired, aged by stress. It was Chloe.
She froze when she saw me.
Then she saw Elena, tall, elegant, radiating power in a dress that cost more than Chloe's old annual salary. Julian, Chloe whispered. I stopped. Elena paused, sensing the tension. Is this her? She asked quietly. Yes, I said. Chloe walked forward, her hands wringing her apron. Julian, I work here now. I heard you were eating inside, but I wasn't allowed to serve your table. Hello, Chloe, I said, my voice neutral. I'm living in a studio apartment, she said, the words spilling out fast. Sterling ruined me. My friend stopped talking to me. Dad won't even look at me. He says I disgraced the family. She looked at me with those eyes that used to manipulate me so easily. I miss you, Julian. Not the money.
I swear.
I miss us. I miss watching movies on the couch. I miss your cooking. I made a mistake.
Please, just give me a chance.
We can start over. I'll sign a prenup. I don't care. I looked at her, and I searched my heart for any lingering affection. I found none. Just pity. Chloe, I said softly. You don't miss me. You miss the safety. You're drowning and you want a life raft. But I'm not a raft anymore. I'm an ocean. And you can't swim in these waters. Julian, please. She fell to her knees, right there on the sidewalk. I have nothing. You have your choices, I said. Live with them. I took Elena's arm. Let's go. As the valet opened the door to my car, Elena paused and looked back at Chloe, who was sobbing on the pavement. Elena reached into her purse, pulled out $100 bill, and walked back. Here, Elena said, dropping the bill in front of Chloe. For the dry cleaning. You got tears on my shoes. Elena got in the car. I got in beside her. That was cold, I said to Elena as we drove away. She shrugged, taking my hand. She broke you, Julian. I'm just letting her know that you've been put back together. Stronger. 2 years later. The wedding of the decade. Julian Hayes and Elena Vance. The merger of two empires, but more importantly, the union of two people who understood loyalty. David Peterson sat in the front row, wearing a custom suit I'd had made for him. He was beaming, proud of me as if I were his own son. As I stood at the altar waiting for Elena, I looked out at the sea of faces, friends, partners, world leaders. I thought about that night at the company party. The humiliation.
The pain.
It felt like a lifetime ago. A different person's life. I had thanked Sterling in my mind once. If he hadn't been such a monster, if Chloe hadn't been so weak, I might still be pretending to be a nobody, living a lie just to feel loved. They freed me. The doors opened. The music swelled. Elena walked down the aisle, looking like a queen. I smiled. I wasn't the idiot in the corner anymore. I was the man who owned the room. And somewhere in a small, cramped apartment in the West End, a woman was probably scrolling through the news on a cracked phone screen, seeing my face, and realizing that some mistakes can never be undone. I took Elena's hand. Ready, she whispered. Always, I said.